Hi, my name's Joe from MakeUseOf.com and this is our review of the TerraMaster D5-300C USB-C RAID box. Thanks to TerraMaster for supplying our review sample today. The D5-300C is not a network attached storage device. It's simply an enclosure to place multiple hard drives, some of which can be linked together in RAID 1 or 0. This enclosure is quite expensive at $230 without drives, especially when you consider that it has no processor and can't be connected to your network. This price tag does, however, get you a 5 gigabits per second USB 3 port and support for up to 5 10TB hard drives or SSDs in a unique 2+3 RAID system. The first two drive bays can be linked together in RAID 0 for high speed or 1 for redundant mirroring. The other three bays do not support RAID, so each drive installed here shows up as an independent drive. RAID mode for bays 1 and 2 is easily configured using a small switch on the back. These drives can be configured independently as well, you don't have to use RAID. USB-C at 5 gigabits per second means you can read or write to every drive in the enclosure at the same time, with no loss of performance. If you have the appropriate USB-C to USB-C cable, you can even connect the enclosure to your mobile phone. As is apparent from the name Universal in Universal Serial Bus, or USB, connecting the enclosure to your phone just works. So long as you have the correct cable, you just plug it in and your drives show up. The D5-300C is beautifully designed. It has two huge fans on the back and it's made from aluminium. This ensures that the hard drives very rarely get warm, even if you're using them a lot. Aside from this practical purpose, the enclosure looks very cool. It will be right at home underneath an iMac or Mac Mini. Hard drives are installed into one of 5 quick release caddies. These have to be screwed in using the attached screwdriver and screws, but they can quickly and easily be removed from the enclosure. 5 status lights on the front of the device show when each drive is being accessed and the status and condition of the RAID array. The power button is also conveniently placed on the front under this cluster of lights. Inside the box, you'll find a power supply, screwdrivers, screws, caddies, manuals, along with a sheet of VHS style drive labels. A USB Type A to Type C cable is included, but it would be nice to have a Type C to Type C cable as well. This would allow you to connect to other USB devices, such as your new MacBook or your USB-C phone. In terms of setting up the array and controlling your drives, there's not much to it. No software is provided, and it's not needed. Much like a giant flash drive, the D5-300C presents each drive to your computer. Bays 1 and 2, when linked together in RAID, are presented as a single drive, as you would expect. A small reset switch has to be held down if you ever change the RAID configuration. This ensures you don't accidentally erase the RAID and delete your data. Because no software is provided, and as such this enclosure can be considered slightly dumb compared to other units on the market, it is limited in the RAID types it provides. Only RAID 1 and RAID 0 are available. It would be nice if there were other types of RAID available, but this may push up the price. This enclosure is very quiet. Having worked exclusively on iMacs and MacBook Pros for the last several years, I've been spoilt by silent computers. While the D5-300C is not entirely silent, this does depend largely on your drives. If you loaded it up with several SSDs, it would probably be very quiet. As it is with mechanical drives, it does make some noise, and the fans do make a small amount of noise, but you can barely hear it from a couple of feet away, and it's no worse than a desktop computer. Once loaded up with my Seagate drives, I achieved an average of 175 megabits per second read and write. This would be significantly increased if you used SSDs, but it's not really worth it. Surprisingly, RAID 0 did not significantly increase the average speed. In real-world terms, RAID 1 and 0, which this device doesn't support, is the preferred method of striping data, as it offers you speed and redundancy. At the moment, if you just mirror your data across 2 drives, it's kind of a risky business because you're increasing your chances of a failure for only a very minor speed increase. The TerraMaster D5-300C is an excellent drive enclosure, but it's not for everyone. As only 2 drive bays support RAID, if you're looking to store large amounts of data or have a RAID with several drives, you may be best looking elsewhere. Similarly, if you have simpler requirements and only wish to store data across 1 or 2 drives, again you may be better off looking at smaller models in the range. For me, as a photographer and video producer, this is perfect. I can insert my existing drives and I can easily remove them to take them off site. The D5-300C is an outstanding device, but it might not be the one for you. Thanks for watching, and make sure you head on over to the link in the description for our full review. Make sure you like and subscribe for more weekly tech tutorials, news, reviews and giveaways.